I'm inside of my at the headquarters, and I just wanted to talk to you about that topic real quick. Welders don't retire, we evolve. Something to think about, man. I remember my grandfather, he passed in his 80s. And I remember he moved around and networked and worked the whole time, did something. And once he wasn't able, physically got sick and wasn't able to move around like he normally did, that's when he passed. So, what I consider to retire. I think retiring is more of after we leave here, not, we think, oh man, I want to kick my foot up and relax. Yeah, we want to evolve. We don't want to do the same hard things all the time. You want to get to a level where when you in your youth, you're doing one thing. And then once you transcend to a different age, you have to switch up what you was doing. Not saying you couldn't still do it if you still got the passion, but certain things you have to switch it up. And I just think it's wise because you last longer and you still participate and you still enjoy what you do. And when it comes to welding, man, I don't think we ever retire. I don't think I never retire fabricating, making, physically welding, teaching, talking about it, just due to the fact of how it changed my life independently and how I used one skill that evolved into so many different ideas, businesses, developments. So, I don't really think that we can retire. I met a welder who I want to say he was in his 70s. And he had his own little independent rig. It was more of an independent rig, not a pipe rig. It was more of a commercial rig. And man, dude was getting it. He was on it and he had full of energy, but he stuck to his lane. He went from doing big jobs to then he started doing small jobs. And he still get out there and weld, and he enjoyed welding. He enjoyed, making things happen, but he just had to switch that up, but he's still out there doing his thing. So it all depends on what you want to do, what type of team you get connected with, or what type of team you build. But, I don't really think we'll retire. I think we just evolve. So, this morning I know, some people on their grind getting ready for their day. And I talked to one brother who actually was thinking about, he was like, man, I'm thinking about going back to my hometown. I want to do something different. I've been on the road in a different area for a while, and now I'm thinking about going back home. And he's from North Carolina. And he was like, man, things are growing. I think my business can go, So, he wanted to, now it's time for him to transcend, from being that worker and realizing that, hey, man, I'm getting took advantage of with what I'm getting paid versus what I could actually make. You know what I mean? If I was independent, if I could get the skills, I got the skills, but get the knowledge now and what I need to do to kick off my independence, you know what I mean? And he was like, man, I know I can do it. And I was like, you know what? That's the first step. That's the first step is getting to that point where you're ready, where you can do better on your own and you're willing to make that sacrifice, but you don't have to do it prematurely though. And it was funny because I told him something. He was like, I said, man, you got something I don't have, while he was telling me this and, telling me how he felt about that. And he was like, man, what you mean? What you talking about, big homie? And I was like, man, you got me. And he fell out laughing because he understood what I meant. When I started my independent journey, bro, I didn't have nobody to guide me as far as the information I had to get. I had to stumble and fall. I had to pay fees. I had to bite the bullet. You know what I mean? I had to go through some trials and tribulations starting my business, but doing that, it gave me the experience and the knowledge and the things to know what to do and what not to do. And I told him, I was like, bro, you got something that I didn't have. You got somebody that already went through it that's willing to do the research that you're not willing to do, that's already had, that they got there, you know what I mean, to the point where he know what it takes. Because, it's a recipe, just like cooking anything. certain things, everybody can put their own mix in it. You can make your own cake, you know what I mean? But you use a recipe to actually make sure that this cake rise and certain things happen, you know? And it's just funny how, we forget the basic things, of realizing the importance of those who have evolved from one stage to another, because that's wisdom. Sometimes we think we got to experience everything. We don't have to experience everything somebody go through. We can actually experience everything for ourselves. We can actually live through someone else, check out what they went through, listen to their stories. That's why the elders are so important. That's why, I realize when they say history repeats itself, and if you know that and understand that, you realize how our elders and how, our OGs and those who have been here longer than us, a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, a half a century, longer than us, they know something, truly enough. They might not be aware with the flow and terminology of things, but life never change. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like we never retire. I don't want to retire welding. You know what I mean? I want to always make things. I want to always fabricate and design things. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy coming up with products. That's why I say products over talent. This motivates me to come out here and look at these plans, these ideas that I came up with from nothing, from scratch, from actually living it. So, it's all about what you put your mind to. But I don't feel like we'll retire. I feel like we'll evolve. We'll get better and better over time, and we'll transcend from being completely hands-on to being, when it's all said and done, you might end up being just an instructor or a teacher or someone who do seminars or someone who write books or do straight videos or podcasts or whatever on the trade. But there's so much to do. And I think learning from those who went before us, building a team, independent team, a team to create, because, it's stages. We don't want to we want to go from being an employer to being independent, and then from being independent to being a corporation. But there are stages. You just don't want to try to jump into the game doing everything yourself. And that's why I stress products over talent, because while you getting earned income, you're using that to invest in products. You're using that to create products. You're using that to invest in a different sources of income, where if this source is going slow right now, you got something else coming in. And that's why I say I like it, man, because, I'm an iron worker. I'm a millwright. I'm an AWS 6G welder certified. So, I'm flux core, I had been around a minute, and I enjoy the field. And I have I have evolved from just doing, like when I was doing straight shop work at one time. When I started off, I was coming fresh out of prison. My first job was doing aluminum. I was spool gunning aluminum and TIG and aluminum and stainless. I did a lot of TIG and aluminum and stainless for the first year. Then I jumped in and I started doing number flux core, like heavy flux core, everything. I think the smallest thing we probably welded on with flux core was 3/8. Everything was 1/2 inch, 2-inch thick, flux core, and stick welding, doing stick welding. And then, it evolved from me learning doing this for doing straight stick welding and flux core welding, still in the field doing iron working. You know what I mean? So I learned the iron working and the harnesses and, having certain protection and PPE. So it all evolved, and I use it all now. So now all of the information from me being a welder, fabricator, iron worker, millwright has evolved to me doing container conversions. And now I'm making container conversions, which actually contains all of these. It contains everything that I have learned. And not only am I creating them, I'm also teaching someone else how to create their own too, how to build their own independent business, because I think that's very important coming into 2021, is to own our own business and to understand what it means, to really understand what it means and understand that you can get there faster with a team than alone. I realized one thing this year, going through all the things we have faced this year, that life has a way of weaving things out. You know how they say the tare from the wheat, and sometimes the tare look like the wheat. You know, until you actually get on it, and you're like, oh man, this ain't wheat, this ain't nutritious. You know, but from a distance, you know, just like they say, don't argue with a fool, because from a distance, both of y'all look the same. You can't tell who's the fool. You know what I mean? So sometimes, you know, we have to really step back and use what we know and evolve. Like use what we know and pass down. You know, go from being just a regular worker to really understanding the trade and say, you know what, I'm willing to step off now to get my money. You know, and then go to the next level. But it's all about making sacrifices, and you literally have to make sacrifice. You have to give up some things. Sometimes you have to give up some things. Good rising, good rising. Sometimes you have to give up some things. So it's all about evolving. It's all about taking what you know and taking it to the next level. So everybody have their different stages. Some people get it fast. Some people get it, you know, it takes them a while. But once it hits you, like it did my brother, that's from North Carolina, once it hits you and you say, hey, man, I think it's time for me to be independent, then it's time to start requiring the information you need. You know, it's different lawyers and consultations and different things that'll save you headaches. But you got to think, if you're going to jump into it, it's most definitely worth it to get those consultations from somebody, to get the information you need, because it's going to be some things that you won't even know. You're like, man, it's going to save you so much money. So it's all about realizing it takes startup, but that's part of anything. You know, it takes money going to look for a job. You know what I mean? Think of sometimes you have went looking for a job and spent a couple tanks of gas and traveled here and there and spent a lot of time doing the application. It was more than just money. It was time too. And life consists of time. Once you give someone some time, you can't get that back. You know, so let's utilize our time, man. This is New Year's Eve. I just want to salute everybody. Just tell everybody, hey man, I love all of y'all, man. I hope I hope nothing but successful things come into 2021. I hope everybody achieve what they're trying to achieve, or at least start planting seeds and start moving forward and getting there, man. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time, but we can do it. So just stay focused, man, coming into 2021, and just realize, you know, we're not trying to retire, we're trying to evolve. We want to get better and better over time. And we want to move and pass some jewels down to the younger generation, so that way they can understand, not to just be under someone. They could actually get something, get a trade, and turn it into a business. You know what I mean? And that's what we specialize in, turn a trade into a business with HogOn. So for those who are not familiar with the website, check it out. We're going to be having some new prints and some new information coming up soon on the website. So check it out. It's www.hogonwelding.com. That's www.hogonwelding.com. And also we have the podcast coming soon. It's called HogOnPodcast.com. So HogOn Podcast, we haven't got it created yet, but we do have the domain, and we're getting everything together. We're trying to finish up the cafe, because our goal is to shoot some of our scenes and the majority of our scenes from it, because, you know, we built it independently. So we kind of want to show off what we're doing, kill several birds in one stone. We're going to be doing welding sessions in there. We're going to be selling some of our products, and there's also going to be a storefront to advertise what we do independently and what we can build for someone else. So coming into 2021, man, we got plans. So for those who are following, man, please keep sharing. Please keep hitting the likes. You know, someone that needs the information, man, I got plenty of archive videos, you know what I mean, that I have been putting down over time, and I'm going to keep releasing. My goal is to come to you with better and better footage, better topics, more good information. You know, I got a hashtag that I started called Black Intelligent News. So I'm going to be, you know, coming up with different things that I feel that we should know, because, you know, Black History Month is only 1 month, and it's the shortest month of the year. And I just feel like we should be aware of Black History Month not just necessarily every day of the year, but at least a couple times every month. You know what I mean? Like at least once a week, we need to be reminded, not just once a month in that February month. You know what I mean? So that's why I created Black Intelligent News, just to keep us up on what's going on with our culture, how we're building, who's building, how, investments, schools, different things, different programs in different communities, just different stuff from our past, because if we know where we've been, we know where we're going. So that's one of my goals. So just wanted to say that this morning, man. Hope everybody have a good day. Didn't want to keep you for too long, but just wanted to say we don't retire, we evolve. Hold on.